e-commerce, and that's what I see. So how do we get this forward? And that is what I want every business to begin to look at. So for me, it's simple. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need the big time consulting firms to tell us what a SWOT analysis is. Every organization should just do a SWOT analysis. Where are your threats? Where are your weaknesses? And then focus on your strengths and the opportunities that this lockdown provides. The reason I've taken the pain to explain COVID and how it is I hear people say it's going to go away. It's not going to go away. It's not going to go away very soon. I say this because the virus keeps mutating. The hopes of getting a vaccine is not anywhere near here, even if it's accelerated. This is the new normal, and we must begin to work and live within this new normal. So once you do a SWOT analysis, look at your business and say, okay, how do we move forward? What are the key performance indicators that we need to digitalize our business? Then you must plan how to return to work. Now, return to work may mean two things. One may be, how do you operate remotely? Or if the lockdown is relaxed, as has been done in some states, if you have to go back to work. If you're going to do that, then you must quickly have a work team. Determine who will be relevant for the new model and assign project managers for each team where this is possible, or just have a project team lead. Please, I repeat again, please do not shy away from firing anybody that becomes irrelevant. And at the same time, I encourage people to also hire, because you will begin to see a need for new skills that you hitherto did not have. And those are opportunities to both fire and hire, the way I say it. Subsequently, we will need to also assign a communication lead and develop an actionable plan with specific means of communication, such as website updates, press releases, even internal procedures. For instance, if you find somebody with a COVID case in your organization, you don't have to wait till then to know what you're going to put out to the press. You must begin to plan all of those. And if you're actually going to go back to a physical workspace, then you must also put some things in place. For instance, you need to map out your workspace for reopening. You need to look at the facility safety, do an assessment where possible, create a list of community spaces that may be impacted by social media guidelines, the social distancing guidelines, like your boardrooms and co. How are you going to rearrange such? I'll want to continue, but allow me a pause here so that I can allow the moderator come up with questions, and we can shed more light on e-commerce, which is my main area of emphasis. Thank you, Elvin.
Thank you, Big Mike. Another great opportunity. Thank you so much. I like to announce that that you will need to use you will need to put your question and answers, your questions on the Q&A. We already have about few questions there, which I will read out in the next few minutes. For now, I would like to sum up all that they have said in a very, very shortened form. Summary. Number one, the Business School Netherlands, where we represent the hallmark of global distinction, has put together this virtual seminar as a way out for us to actually get things done at Business School Netherlands. The leadership skills for the 21st century are actually enormous, and they are made up of cognitive skills, execution skills, leadership skills, and self-management skills. You must have seen the panelists, a number of them, what they have shared. They have shared the need for us to increase cognitive skills and creativity, and strategic thinking and global perspective. Ms. Okoya spoke about this, Big Mike spoke about this. They have also rendered issues of execution skill, customer focused planning, program management, and focusing on results. Aki mentioned this, and if we recollect very well, Mason actually spoke around this as well. They have also spoken about the need for relationship skill, emotional intelligence, skills for influencing, for engaging, for inspiring, for managing talent, open communication, and building relationship. And they spoke as well about self-management skills, trust, adaptability, curiosity and love of learning. Now, employees are those who have a job, and the self-employed are those who own a job. Now, both of them, we need to start to transit to become investors and business owners. It is critical. In a period like this, when there is recession, the likelihood of your job being stable is not clear. And because we do not know whether the job is going to be stable or not, it's essential for us to start to learn how to have a business ownership. It can be co-owned. You don't have to step out of your business, but it requires that you set something up like a baby business that can grow. That is going to be your life. You do not have time to become a business owner. We have to be an investor. It's nice for us to own investment. And it's about 5% of the population that are leveraging on this. About 95% of wealth is owned by business owners. And so what these 5 critical people have shared with us today is the need for us to learn how to organize ourselves before we start to organize the outer. We must organize the great, then organize the small. We learn how to organize ourselves before we start to organize other people. So in a period of crisis, the first is to lead yourself. You cannot lead yourself unless you have very good self-awareness. Your self-awareness tells you your strength, how good you are in your leadership skill, in your learning skill, in your social style. And then you now have a social awareness. And then you can now start to learn how to predict the behavior of other people and learn how to engage them and manage them in the most effective way. So we want the Business School Netherlands, the summary of what they are saying, that they want you to be a leader in what you are doing. What is leadership? Ability to listen to the said and the unsaid. They've said some things, but they've also not said some things, but you can apply what they are saying. The last speaker, for example, has spoken about the fact that don't think that there's going to be an end to COVID. COVID is like flu. It's like smallpox. It's like, any of those viral infections. We will have to learn to live with it. So learn empathy, learn to have the right kind of attitude, be decisive, have the right kind of energy, and show resilience. And I think you know that the last slide of Aki Oshitoki is about agility and resilience. So then they spoke about us being influencer. We should not just be people who just sat by the way. We should be an influencer. We are influencing the things that is around us. So a leader is an influencer. We should work with integrity now, nurture other people, nurture ourselves and nurture other people who will be able to take over from us. We're not going to be on this side of the world forever. And so success without a successor is not a success. So it's a failure. We must have faith in ourselves, self-confidence, and also have faith in our country and in the system. The world is not going to end now. No. This is not. So have faith that the world will continue. So this is the new normal. We must learn how to be silent and to study and be clearer in our strategies. Have a better understanding of the things that are happening. I've spoken about emotional intelligence, navigate through the crisis, communicate well, and then have an exemplary things, and then show resilience. So we should move away, according to Mike, from the fear zone, move into the learning zone, and eventually into the growth zone. Now, the summary of everything they've told you today is the fact that if we continue to celebrate COVID, we will be in the fear zone. We need to start to learn, what can we learn from COVID? How can we build strategies? So you have to learn some basic strategies that will enable your business to continue to grow. And so you need to keep on asking strategic questions. What is causing our current challenge? What is the impact of COVID? Why are we afraid of it? What do we want? What can we do about COVID? Then we define the processes and assign roles and responsibilities to those people who are capable. Then we develop a very good plan, and then we align. If we have a threat, you also have an opportunity. The Chinese people say every major challenge comes along with it an opportunity. So when you have a threat, then you define what is that threat. It gives you a challenge. Inside every challenge, there's an opportunity. So what are the potential opportunities in COVID-19 crisis? That's what we want you to think of. Are you adding to the chaos or solving the problem? I have a colleague, a friend of mine, childhood friend of mine, who saw great opportunity in COVID-19 and has started to produce very large quantity of face masks all over the country. Now, what it means is that you can see problems, or you are solving the problem by producing face masks. She's moved into a situation by she's solving a problem they are seeing in COVID-19. So chaos should make every one of us stronger. And remember, when even a customer complains, it's because that customer is committed to you. So when a customer is not complaining, he's on his way out. So remember that when your customer, it just means that you might need to take a second look at your so-called strategy and see maybe you need to improve digitalization, you need to increase reach, and so on and so forth. Like I mentioned earlier, don't forget, don't put your questions on the chat room, put it on the Q&A. You see the Q&A, that's where we go to after this presentation. So when you find yourself in chaos, go back to basics. And everything they've shared today is about the basics. By these two lovely, beautiful women and this very giganteous, handsome three giant men who has shared with us. So what will not be the same for business even after Corona is that work from home policy will now be a normal. So this is the new normal. Business travel will reduce. Employees and premises will become healthier. Supply chain strategy will be relating. Online classes will be the new order of the day. So we must understand this. And in decoding the economics of COVID-19, we need to know that those who are immediate winners will be medical supply and services, food processes, personal health care, ICT, commerce. And those who are immediate losers are tourism, aviation, automotive, construction, manufacturing. The people in between are financial services, education, oil and gas, and agri. The responsibility of those who are immediate losers is to remodel. The people who are winners should quickly take advantage of this winning opportunity and quickly explore as much as possible. The people in the midway will need to do both. They will need to remodel and also take advantage of opportunities that they see. So for example, tourism will need to fully remodel and start to say, what are we? You notice the fact that during the COVID-19, a hotel knew that it was no longer going to be able to take clients. What did they start to do? They started advertisement that they can deliver food to your home. And so people started to order for food from a hotel. And they were able to make huge sales beyond the number of people who come to their restaurant during the COVID-19 lockdown. Organizational culture, the way we do things in our organization, we always eat strategy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It will inhibit change, it will inhibit innovation, it can inhibit execution, performance, and growth. But it can also enhance change, which is the only constant. We need to embrace change. It can also enhance innovation. It can enhance strategy, execution, performance, and growth. So we must know that at the bottom of every strategy that we are building, we're supposed to be customer-centric. So we need to look at our leadership, like I mentioned earlier, look at customer experience, not what we are doing to customer, but what is their interpretation of the customer experience. We need to show innovation, to measure success, to focus on our culture and transform our culture for the better each day, and build very rich strategy. At the end of the day, all that we are seeking for, all that the apostles are seeking for here is what? Transformation. They want you to be able to develop your business, transform your business so that your business can thrive. A business school that is common to all the speakers is Business School Netherlands. And what we've done is that we have decided to have what we call the essentials of MBA. Some of the people may not be able to come fully for MBA that cost about 4.9 million prior to devaluation. Based on this devaluation, we plan to adjust our pricing. However, people come in now before the end of May, we certainly enjoyed the old rate, which is 4.9. We also look at people who may not be able to afford 4.9. They want something less. And so they will learn something like a mini MBA. It's not an MBA, but it's like essentials of MBA certification. It's going to be addressing the functional principles to serve as a solid bridge for those who intend to do MBA in the future. And it will be a masterclass certification program for about 6 months. It will have a practical orientation, experiential action learning, and it will both physical and online classrooms. The action learning, the International Action Learning Executive MBA, like I shared with you, was started by Dick Gesing. We have our vision to be an enabler of development of success of managers, and our vision is to be the best business school. We are happy to state today that we are already in number 11, based on CEO 360-degree evaluation. Not evaluation based on the number of acres you have, but based on the quality of delivery of those who are working with various CEOs. They have evaluated the graduates. Had a couple of graduates in the school who have spoken about the value of transformation, like Adara Ayade. The likes of Bankole Oloruntoba spoke about how it has improved strategic thinking. And the likes of Toluwalashe Habib spoke about it's a life-changing experience. It was a transformative. It built capacity and improved the thought process. The likes of Oluseun Onoshoga spoke about that the intent sessions and review has equipped him for the purpose of managing challenges of life. The likes of David Ahmed from Abuja, he said it is very relevant to present day and teaches global business and management principles. Deborah Olabode Jinadu spoke about the fact that he provided educational perspective and practical knowledge that has evidently impacted our job. The Adesoye Oloruntoba spoke about life-changing personally and professionally. It was able to tackle real life problems. And you notice Mrs. Funke Okoya was actually talking about the application of the action learning to our bank. Adedumola Bano spoke about deep experience, action learning, challenged our thinking, and was very, very practical. The CEO magazine, which is a global recognized magazine, particularly for executives, particularly for global leaders of multinationals. The New York Stock Exchange top 100 companies. The 2020 global rankings was based on quality of faculty, international diversity, class size. The lower the class size, the better. And usually our class size is an average of 20 to 25. Accreditation, faculty, so student ratio, pricing, affordability of pricing, international exposure, work experience, professional development, gender parity, and delivery method model. And in it, you will notice on this chart that we are the number 11. So we survived. We made it to the top 11 CEO Tier 1 Global for the MBA rankings for the year 2020. We have been in that top 1 ranking for over 7 years. And if you carefully look at the screen, you will notice the fact that number 50 is where the next Nigerian business school is, and that is Lagos Business School. And these are members of our faculty who are deeply rooted and highly experienced. They have really practical experience in what they do. One of them is the chairman of about 13 companies. He's a billionaire in dollars, and he's a teacher by passion, and he's been able to manage the starting company while simultaneously teaching in the school. So he's able to put experience of what we would rather take somebody with 40 years business experience to come and teach than a professor who has never managed a single business to come and teach us with 100 years professorial experience. These are some of the companies that have worked, who have sent their students to our school or where our alumni currently work. They are all arranged alphabetically. And the value chain are therefore confirmed that we provide business education, we drive inspiration, graduates are able to get connected, and graduates drive what we call the acceleration of business growth, business professionally managed, business could explore opportunities for international or global collaboration, and there's business resilience among the people who are graduates of the school, manages business, and business is able to create a wealthy global community and start to address the 17 SDG goals. These are some of the other testimonials. Coincidentally today, among these people who are giving testimonial here, 2 of them were on this panel. On the extreme left is Mr. Suleiman Sule, who was able to raise as much as about $3.2 million from foreign venture capitalists based on the activities of that action learning projects while in school. And it is this result that has helped him in running his business today across Africa. We know to the extreme right is Michael Omotosho, the big Mike. We lost him, but I think the technical people will do everything possible to bring him back. So, and Michael Omotosho, who actually spoke about the beauty of learning how to ask questions and some of the things he shared with us. On the extreme left to Sule is Olama John Agbade, who is the head of Access Bank now in Rwanda. After she graduated, Access Bank sent her to Rwanda to head the bank in Rwanda. We see Jerry Anite, who spoke about the fact that it addresses life challenges. Gertrude Akomaye spoke about it was able to energy. Spoke about the fact that it gained various speed, it gained a lot in various fields, and was able to have the strategy gave an helicopter view of businesses and confidence to pass in flying colors. Akim Drotoye spoke about the fact that he deepened his knowledge in critical thinking, which is one of the critical skills that are required in the 21st century. Adenike Adenuga was able to use the skill to expand our business as a chain, as a chain store manager, as a pharmacist who has chain store all over. In summary, these people have taught us how to set goals. Your life goal, 25 years ahead, short term, 24 months ahead, 24 weeks ahead, 24 days ahead, 24 hours ahead, 24 minutes ahead. There must be consistency in what you are doing now, must be aligned with where you want to be in about 24 years' time. We have seen that the school has been very successful in leading provider of executive business education. Established 32 years ago, we are now in 16 countries. We have graduated over 5,000 executive MBA holders with over 1,000 firms in over 55 countries. We have worldwide accreditation. We have mission, core value position, and value position, which I've shared with you. We want to move the psyche of every student in school. Rather than pursue strategy from the perspective of product, we want you to pursue strategy from the perspective of solution. That is what we need to do under the current normal, under the current COVID normal. We need to move away from product culture to customer culture. We need to move from new product development to new solution development. We need to move from rewarding new product development to rewarding people with deep insight into customers' understanding. To move from product divisions, segment, with P&L to customer segment. That's why you see the bank. They have retail, they have corporate, they have high network. When you come to school, we teach you first about leadership, people strategy, and partnership. Then we teach you about processes so that you can have people, process, customer, society, and business result. Before I finally close, this is the number of stars we have. The private universities in Nigeria, we can rate them as 3-star in terms of popularity, flexibility, and influential network. But because they are not foreign university, so we cannot say they are foreign MBA school. The public local universities, we give them 1 star. The foreign universities, we have 2 stars in the area of foreign MBA and flexibility. The online universities, they are very popular as well. They also have flexibility and another 2 stars. BSN is a foreign accredited MBA. It's popular based on what you have seen, including the CEO magazine evaluation that's been on the top 11. Very flexible, influential network, practical problem-solving approach, a star, and value addition beyond the school. You want to align your mind with the company mission, vision, and values. Align your spirit, your emotion, and everything, so that as you do this, you're able to deliver satisfaction, aspiration, and compassion. You're able to increase profitability, returnability, and sustainability. You become better, you're able to differentiate and make a difference in your places of work. So we want you to revisit this, go and look at taking the MBA online, and be able to see that the MBA schools have changed. The old-fashioned MBA schools lack sufficient leadership, global mindset. They did not have the right kind of question and value added that the new MBA from BSN has. They lack skill in navigational realities. So we are now using alumni like these people to enrich our MBA to look at what we are not doing well. We are very interdisciplinary and practice-oriented. We teach you on self-awareness, presentation, meetings, performance. We are not coming to school to have knowledge alone. We want you to increase your skills by practicalizing it. We want you to have a sense of purpose and identity by focusing on your future. We are not asking you to have the right answer. We want you to be able to have good enough answer that can be implemented effectively. There's no one single answer to solving the problem of COVID-19 today. And so we have used the ancient truth of I hear, I forget, I see, I remember, I do, I understand of Confucius to come up to increase the learning and retention by combining readings with lecture, with the visual, with demonstration, practical demonstration, with discussion group, with learning and teaching, so that students teach themselves. And so their learning and retention is up to 90% of whatever they learn in class by the time they add up practical demonstration and skill. And so we move from mental learning to emotional learning, from individual learning to fellowship learning, from short term to long term, from cramming to just being able to create, to evaluation of whatever is happening and to create, from mental knowledge to emotional knowledge. So we move from the left hand to the right side of the brain. So when a problem occurs, we teach you how to analyze using literature, workshop, field, and subset. You are able to identify possible solution, decision, and take an action. So in BSN, we confirm that we diagnose, we discover, we define, we design, we develop, we deliver, drive, and differentiate. All in all, we equip students with the right kind of system, tools, attitude, skills, ability, knowledge, actions, result, lesson, and strategy to build strategic capability needed to deliver a unique set of benefits to stakeholders, to drive performance culture, and to realize your company vision of stakeholder value, increasing profitability, satisfaction of customers, organizational alignment, and cost reduction. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. Now we have about 17 questions. We are going to share the questions to the various speakers, and I will want you to please take note. The first question I have here is to Mrs. Funke Okoya. Please take note of your questions. So when I call you each, write down your questions first. You can also look at the questions. So when I call on you, you will look at your questions and then be able to answer them. To Mrs. Okoya first, she says, with the rate of exposure of banks to credit, especially in the US sector, or you can look at it on the Q&A chart. He says, and which has led to failure to service these facilities. He wants to know what measure are banks putting in place to avoid failure. This is in view of the fact that CBN forbearance may not last for as long as it takes oil and prices to stabilize. Then another question, next question was to Big Mike. He's talked about hiring and firing with emphasis on firing. My question is, what about companies leveraging on technology to help their employees upgrade and acquire the new skill from the point of view of cost management and and consistency, reduction of direct competition for the business as well. And he also shared his own opinion that every aspect of the business is important as long as it has been ascertained by business improvement team that it's required. And so with the destruction of that aspect and engaging the employees can bring about a business and revenue defining outcome. So what he's saying is that it will be better to actually improve the skill of staff rather than fire them. Adebanka Odeniyi, who happens to be a graduate of the school, okay, it's not a question, it's an observation. Mr. Oshuntoki, there's a question for you. Is it in all situations that business should opt for this option rather than own CapEx? With the pandemic as we shape the business model by embracing IT for improved services, I will appreciate a panel that control light on that control lighting to how business can use IT to serve. So Shakirat Begore said, with the way internet fraud has been on the rise, what does the future hold for the thriving of small business, e-commerce, in view of the fact that intended customers usually are suspicious? And how do you suggest small businesses with no known name ensure the win? Richard Zibri wants to thank the panel for the presentation. And he said we should put up the slide that has 4 quadrants of employee, investor. Okay, I will do that. Then Raman Tichilokpe spoke about there's a lot of emphasis on e-commerce. but there are other industries such as construction services that require physical interaction and manpower. How do you therefore go about continuing revenue growth and profitability? So, and then he asked a question, is this a good time to diversify our portfolio? Olubenga asked question from Mrs. Okoya. It is no gain saying that this current pandemic has changed what we do. Adaptability, flexibility are the names of the current game. For the highly regulated industries such as banking, business portfolio, and customer base must be protected. Policies and procedures. So how can this be achieved? The question for BSN, which I will answer is BSN looking to offer fully remote learning, particularly in the face of current situation, especially the orientation weeks? Can a virtual model be offered? Yes, we are currently offering virtual model for orientation. Then Rochimi Arogunjo asked the question, what is the cost of the BSN 6-month essentials of MBA? The cost has about 1.5 million. Then Donald Nwokolo, is this part of the world? Digitalization of communication is not, the communication is not really a well-amplified customer engagement channel. It would not be wrong to say that business without a digital channel before the pandemic will have a tough time engaging customers and renewing. So to Mr. Big Mike, what do you think about this? Then we're almost through. Then Techno Poverty asked, he said from Adenekan, the Lord bless and thank you all for this great awareness. Okay, David Nwokolo is asking a question from Mrs. Okoya about the new normal. You brilliantly said the business should be deliberate. How the actions and on the actions in the new normal. Well said. And the question is asking is that will the new normal really give much regard to employees? And how do you think the executive should behave or act, especially with the new normal, frustrated, improved staff communication and regard to life on change? And Fumilola is asking question, what is the future of faith-based organizations, particularly churches, after the COVID? I will answer that. Najid, how do we deal with clients asking for discount on our product, yet the exchange date is very ridiculous? So, David Cole, how will BSN incorporate new business innovation as a result of COVID-19 to their syllabus and help students to adjust? We already incorporated that into every aspect of the 12 modules. Innovation in HR, innovation in strategy, innovation in marketing, innovation in operations, innovation in financial management, innovation in international management, innovation in leadership, innovation in strategy development, and so on and so forth. How will we be able to survive in the current situation? School owners bearing in mind that most students are not online and epileptic power supply. Currently, it's going to be difficult for any student to survive without, particularly in BSN, without a modem, a very good modem that we allow for broadband, because our course is now combined with the concept of learning from home and also learning in class. And we are never going to go back to full class learning only. You'll be able to learn from your home, you'll be able to learn from class. It's going to be a combination, so broadband is critical. On that note, I would like to hand over first to the ladies. Let me start from Mrs. Okoya. You would seem to have specific questions. Please take not more than 5 minutes to answer our questions so that we can close. Answer your questions shockingly. You know the question that you meant.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, LB. The first question that we have that was directed to me has to do with what is the rate of exposure of banks to credit, especially in the oil sector, and which has led to failure. I don't want to repeat the question. Now, the answer to that question really is, as a financial institution that is fully governed by the Central Bank of Nigeria, we know what the CBN is doing, and we know that it is the best for the industry to ensure stability in all areas. And what we're doing is to ensure that, we consistently follow through with CBN regulation with regards to exposures. Now, what the CBN also has done is that they are mindful of this. They're constantly having meetings with the bank MDs, and they're coming up with measures in order to address and ensure that there's no major crisis in the market. Then for the second question, the question was, what advice do you have for regulators in the financial sector? My advice is that, based on my experience, I've been in the industry for more than 20 years. I believe that the CBN is doing a fantastic job, and they are very close to the banks, as they have all the right intent for all the banks at the moment. Now, the best thing for the institutions to do is to ensure that they remain close to the central bank. This crisis, like I said earlier, has an expiry date. And if we look at, we don't even have to go too far. If you look at what is happening in China right now, China has more like gone back to near normal. So having said that, I feel that what the financial institutions should do is to ensure that if they're having issues, because CBN has an open policy and they have a very strong listening here, consistently, they've been able to address the issues of the financial institutions. Thank you. Then the third question, that's for me, Donald.
Thank you so much, Mr. Okoya. Are you
Okay,
through?
I want to address all the questions that was at,
Okay, just answer the question. You don't need to read them again. Just answer.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, no, the next question, I think from Donald.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's not for me, sorry. Okay, we're talking about the new normal, that we should adopt a deliberate approach. Okay, one of the things that we have done, I mean, there's a lot of emphasis out there. Some people are saying, okay, it's time for you to retrench staff and all of that. At Nova Merchant Bank, we have adopted a different approach because right now we are at growth phase. As a value-driven organization, our focus is to ensure we continue to recruit, especially in the areas of sales staff. And the other question they asked was, what are the executives doing in order to ensure that the staff are not frustrated? I believe that the executives should ensure that they continually create an enabling environment for all staff and promote an open door policy where staff can easily air their views. Thank you. And then the last question for me, I think that's it. Then there was one other question I was asked by, I think, Benga. That also has to do with CBN and regulations around CBN. And I'd mentioned earlier that everything we do as a merchant bank is fully governed by CBN. And basically, we are of the opinion and we duly agree with all the structures and the concepts and the measures that CBN has taken so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Okoya. Will I call on the second woman of substance, Mrs. Jekine, to address the questions that are related to you?
Okay,
and then
so no questions were directed directly to me, but I see questions that have to do with markets, and I will just take them quickly. We have the one from Shukarat Belgori speaking about small businesses trying to reach customers via e-commerce and how would they go about this. So one of the things I've observed during this COVID time is a lot of businesses that were not online are now online. Some are thriving, some are having issues thriving. Now, let me tell you from my experience what I see about small businesses going forth. You have to work on customer referrals. A lot of people depend solely on the internet. And like you've said, in Nigeria, most people are suspicious. So work on customer referrals. When you have customers that have bought goods and services from you, speaking about your goods, or just even posting it on Instagram or tweeting it, and you will find out that other people, knowing that someone they know has utilized that service, would most likely use it in the future. The second one was from Titi Lopez, speaking about construction services. If you recall the chart LB had, he spoke to the organizations that would have issues during COVID and the ones that would most likely gain from it. But Mr. Aki Oshutoki had also mentioned that in these times, you have to look at diversification and partnership. I've seen logistics firms that in this era in Nigeria that were strictly for transporting people within states have moved to transporting food, have partnered with NGOs to deliver food to areas that you're trying to reach the low-income companies, and partnering with restaurants. So diversification and partnership is key for organizations that was hit during the COVID. Thank you.
Thank you so much. May we call on Ake Oshuntoke?
Thank you, LB. I have 3 questions, and I'll take them quickly. The first one, I think, is from Bukola Ganiyu, on lease or buy decision. Let me quickly say that there are financial calculations and model that determines whether it is appropriate to buy or lease. That is something that a good financial accountant or management accountant can help you with. LB has my details. We can continue this discussion. But let me quickly say that most companies that sell equipment will begin to have a lease option as a wraparound. In order to make more sales, they will begin to make it as an offering. Car companies will begin to offer a lease option because demand naturally will be depressed. And in an effort to move up revenue, these are options they will give you. I think Ms. Fan, made a good point on small businesses going online. She did a great job. Perhaps what I will also say is that the starting point for you is to organize your business and have a website. Most people will check you out first and foremost before they even talk to you. And when you have a good website, anytime anyone is looking for services in your area, naturally your business, your website will pop up. And that is where you begin to get phone calls and people begin to call you and ask questions. Also, if you need assistance in that area, they will give you my number and I'll be able to help you. I have an auntie that was able to move a juice business online. And during the lockdown, she was just selling house to house, phone call after phone call. It's the way to go. The third one is from Yewande Desping Adewusi. Very good question. And what she asked is, what strategies can we employ, can the finance sector employ to draw more customers from brick and mortar face-to-face online? And there are 2 approaches, the pull effect and the push effect. If the banks give you incentives for coming online, that is the pull. They can begin to give you incentives for coming online and all of that. But the natural thing for those who go online is the speed. You don't have to wait to see anybody. The speed is there, the precision is there, the accuracy is there. Now there's also the push effect. Pretty soon, banks will begin to give deadlines that you can no longer do this again. They will push you to the ATMs. They will begin to let you know that any cash takings below a particular amount cannot be made inside the branch. You have to go to the ATM, you have to go this and do all of that. There will be deadlines. And as these deadlines come, they are more or less pushing you online. I hope that with these few points, I've been able to answer all the questions. LB, thank you.
Thank you so much. Mike, we will want you to answer now. Briefly, there's anything concerning you, and then Suleiman Sule should be preparing. Mike?
Okay, thank you, LB. Yes, thank you, LB. Well, the question has actually been trashed thoroughly by Yemi, Donald, and even Suleiman online. But let me quickly add again, the emphasis was not on firing, The emphasis was on not shying away from firing if you have to fire. And that's important. So they came up with a lot of other options like even coaching and co. So the most important part is to recognize that there are some other skill sets required for e-commerce. E-commerce is beyond just having a catalog or a product display on your website. You need to also consider your suppliers, your supply chain management, your warehouse operations, shipping, and even return policies, your client relationship management, both the software angle and the policies that you want to have. And then more importantly, marketing and loyalty programs, because that is what will keep them coming. You must come up with programs that will make your customers become marketers for you, either deliberately or unconsciously. I think that's important. Haven't said that much. I'll just move on to Donald's question about customer loyalty that can a small business begin e-commerce. Of course, yes, you can. Like I said, there are so many other things that has to do with that is essential for e-commerce beyond just having a product, a catalog. The mistake most entrepreneurs or most businesses make is looking at what they think they can do and do very well. I think it's often different. The strategy is to actually look at the customer and what does the customer need. So you're actually solving a solution. So it's not about your capabilities. It's about your capabilities to respond to the needs of the customer. And then there is a tricky part of that need. Besides the needs, there's also a want. So what a customer needs and what the customer wants are usually two different things. So your job as the solution provider is to merge those two together. How can you meet the customer's need and wants at the same time? And if you want to look at all of those, you must determine what your key success factors should be for going online, for instance. And of course, you must decide to first brand yourself. How do you want to be seen? And then decide to grow your own community. Don't just think you can acquire any other community because you have a brand already and you've got to grow your community. So at every point of the sale, you've got to invite before, during, and after. Marketing, selling, it's a continuous process online. Warren Buffett did say that if you truly do not want to work again, you've got to come up with a business that will be making money for you while you are asleep. And to that extent, you've got to come up with strategies that will allow others continue to sell for you and make money for you, even while you're not there. And that's what makes e-commerce very lovely. You also need to be able to communicate the benefits clearly so that everybody that is seeing it knows exactly what you're talking about. Keep it simply stupid, like they say, as clearly as possible. And then add a note of urgency, because at every point in time, people are reading and they say, yes, this makes sense. If you continue talking as a salesman, what LB used to teach us those days in Pfizer is you have a lot of stuff to sell. And as you're talking, the moment you see a buying signal, drop every other thing and sell. So because you're online, you've got to add a note of urgency at every point in time. Add that opportunity to let them buy. Don't wait till they get to hear everything or read everything. At any point in time, let them buy if they want to buy. Create a sense of urgency and even time it. Create a time down if possible. And then encourage customers to sell for you. I've said this before. And if possible, incentivize this process so that customers will have something in return for selling for you. For me, I think it's important at this point to truly understand that change is inevitable, but growth is optional. And that was actually from John Maxwell. COVID is here, it's here with us. It's not going to go away in a long time. So things have changed and they'll continue to change. So if you truly want to grow, you need to create an opportunity to go online and then maximize the opportunities that you find within your sector. Immediately create a 30, 60, and 90 days priority worksheet on your top 5 key issues. Then assign task owners, due dates, and then begin to walk the talk. Finally, remember that strategy is useless without implementation. So whatever it is that we're saying, we've got to roll up the sleeves and then get to work. And we have COVID to thank for this new rude reawakening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Suleiman Sule, pharmacist Suleiman Sule. What would you like to share with us in addressing the question, and then we can wrap up? Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. So our time is fast spent. I'd like to address the question raised by Chukwuemeka on the state of our technology infrastructure and whether telemedicine is something that's possible in the country. So my approach to that would be first, we have enough of our nascent technology. I would say if we are looking at, say, mobile phone penetration in the country, at the moment it's at a decent level. On the second part is in terms of the medical records that we have, while we may not have a centralized system that's connected between hospitals and the different care providers, at the fundamental level, pharmacies, for example, can begin to actively do something. I would say, know your customer. You have like the basic data or information on how to reach them. The second step is in providing healthcare, and I would keep speaking with from the level of pharmacy, would be taking the focus away from being just product focused to actually providing a service. And it's on that premise that pharmaceutical care can essentially transition into something we can handle using the internet means. A quick follow-up on this question would be, now to do all of these things, we need data, we need information. And until we actively begin to explore the data that we have available. So one thing we've noticed in the past few weeks with since the COVID came up at Shelf Life had been that we were looking at trends and changes in products that were being procured, what categories they were being procured in. And we started to see that there has been a change in any product that would treat, say, a COVID-related symptom, cough, fever, whatever it is. We found out that, okay, people were responding and treating that. However, there was a worrying trend where we saw that people on chronic medications, the hypertension, the diabetes, were experiencing a dip. So now we need to, as practitioners or as business people, even individuals, we need to begin to think, okay, what could be driving these changes? Could it be the cash crunch? People are trying to preserve cash, or people are just simply unable to afford? Or are the restrictions having that much of an effect that people are unable to go out to get their medicines? So until we investigate the data we have at our fingertips first, to be able to see how behavior is changing and how we can intervene. There was another point Mr. Oshintoki mentioned where he said taking businesses online. And even in healthcare, what we are starting to see is that people are beginning to take a consumer purchase behavior approach to even their healthcare. So before you would want to procure a medicine or do whatever it is, you might start up with a simple Google search. And how I think pharmacies can leverage on that is if your product listings, your services are on some form of a platform, there are tools that could be leveraged today that would point the public to the nearest pharmacy to them, and that drives traffic to your location, regardless of COVID or not. And this is something that was really core at the business school's teaching when we talked about the zero moment of truth, which the guys at Google were big in pushing out. These are very applicable to even our industry. It's just like Michael Motor said earlier, now COVID is essentially forcing us to innovate. We need to begin to reimagine how we do things. I wouldn't want us to be stuck in this situation where we say, oh, the infrastructure in Nigeria is not set up to provide these things. There are still little bits of our nascent technology we could leverage in solving some of our problems right now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Suleiman Sule. The only question we've not answered, I will answer immediately, and that's the question of what happens. He said, in the view of this, somebody spoke about the NGOs and in particular churches. The truth is that the COVID-19 we reduce the need for giant, very giant mansions or buildings, because a lot of people have adjusted now to attend services from the comfort of their homes. They are still able to pay tithe, pay offering and everything, and it's sinking into the heart of a large number of people now that they can serve God from their homes. And so if the Vatican, if the Basilica is closed, the Vatican is closed, and all the big churches are closed for weeks, and we are still able to serve God, there's every likelihood that those big churches model will be replaced now by online presence and participation on online. So large number of churches, we need to move the direction of online presence and religious organizations. So that's the only question I think we've not answered. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had the last 90 minutes had been spent, in spite of some in a very wonderful way. I would like to call on Mrs. Adeyeye, who I will expect her to unlock her mic and also unlock her face so that we can see her. Thanks, mic is back. So, Mrs. Adeyeye, are you there? Unlock your video so that you can give us a vote of thanks. She has unlocked the microphone. I don't think she's been able to unlock unlock both microphone and unlock your microphone as well as your video, and give us a vote of thanks. If she's unable to speak to us, it appears she's having problem with technically. Mores, she unlocked her microphone, but maybe network is not allowing us to hear her. But I can't find her.
I'm here. Good afternoon, LB.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon.
I'd like to say a big good afternoon to all our participants for today's webinar. It's indeed a great time to be alive. And it's a new time for us to all thrive, learn how to thrive in the new normal. This is the new normal now, whereby we're doing so many things at the same time. I've been part of the webinar. Today's my daughter's 4th birthday. I've been in the kitchen. I've been listening in. So it gives a whole lot of emotions here. But I believe we all know this is the new normal, and all we need to do is to take advantage of whatever position or where we are or circumstance, and take value out of it, make value out of it. Whatever position you are, maximize it, utilize it, learn and unlearn, and build on it. We can only continue to grow. And this is the path for us to grow, by seeking knowledge, by wanting to know more, by wanting to do more. Thank you, everyone. We hope that at another time, when we'll call on you, you would gladly join us to rub minds together so that we can learn from you and you can also learn from us. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Akin, Suleiman, Big Mike, Mo. Mrs. Okoya showed her face. I can't find her again now. She showed her face briefly, so as well as Missa. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful, most exciting. We had over 100 people signed in. We thank God that these people were patient enough. And I'd like to thank anybody who needs any further information should please patronize and go to our social media, contact any of our key account managers. They'll be there. Chokwe, you might like to share your number, the hotline. Unmute yourself and just share the number. Unfortunately, I don't have it on my slides. I will have shown it on the screen. Chokwe, you want to share your number, the numbers, hotline for people? Okay. everybody was reached through one way or the other by one of our staff. Okay, Auntie Funke is back. I wanted to just see your face again to say, nice having you. Nice for the beautiful presentation. Thanks to every single one of you. I wish you the very best, and I pray that the Lord will make everything to work well for us as we manage the new number. God bless you all. Topa, you have the number, please announce.
Yes, good afternoon,
Please
sir.
announce the new,
Good afternoon, everyone.
the hot number. Good afternoon.
Okay, the
Good
hotline number is 0806 721 1068. I repeat.
Again.
0806
0806
721 1068. Yeah. 1068.
1068. Yeah. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Monica, you should give us cake for every attendee.
No, it's not cake now. It's Nigerian jollof.
Yes, so I second to that. I agree. Nigerian jollof.
For you. You can send it by courier. If you don't have a courier service, I'm willing to come physically to your house.
I have courier service, so that it doesn't enter voice.
So when we were calling you to come and give vote of thanks, you were in the kitchen. You were busy eating. When the rest of us were working. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Alvin. Thank you, everyone. Okay, bye-bye.
Suleiman, you have been a wonderful person, Suleiman. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate your efforts. And sorry for the delay in bringing you in, Funke. It was a technical, my position as a host was removed. And so I kept on trying to move you in, not knowing that I didn't have the power again. Until the technical identified it, and then I quickly had to reach out. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Okay, sir. Apologize.
We can only be better. This is
yes,
we have been using Zoom. We have been using Zoom meeting in the past. It's our first webinar experience. So
it is a good experience, very good one. Thank you, sir. Okay, then.
Help us share the storyline to as many people as you have invited.
Okay, we will.
That there's a new era for BSN, and all of you are great ambassadors. We are very proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
Hearing from you makes a lot much more credible statement than any one of us. So,
yes, sir.
God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.